Texans Chargers. What chance do you think the Chargers O-line has against this Texans pass rush?
Oh my God. Yeah, sometimes I like watching. I love watching good competitive games, and it's amazing to watch the back and forth, and like you don't know what's going to happen. But then there's an element of football that I think like us, us, big fans of the game. I think you guys would agree with me on this. That you like seeing like one guy just absolutely obliterate, or one unit absolutely obliterate another unit, and like this has the potential to see like one of the best defenses in the league against one of the worst O lines. You know, probably worse than the Ravens, but also because they're on like third and fourth stringers and seventh stringers, and it's about even with the Ravens starting lineup. But uh, yeah, an incredible defensive line that is playing a unit. Offensive line did not give up any sacks to the Cowboys last week, and I know the Cowboys pass rush isn't very good, and Jerry said he wants to stop the run, so that's why he traded away Mike Hill and traded away one of their best pass rusher. But they got no sacks against the Cowboys, so it means like Greg Roman, for all his faults, he can maybe dial up some quick passing game. And for me, the Chargers defense is also pretty good, and the Texans offense is pretty bad. They struggled against the Raiders last week, and I think that was just classic trap game. Like you expect going in with your like C minus game that you can still win, and they still won. They still beat the Raiders, and they probably were snoozing through it for the 2.5 quarters, and they finally realized like, oh man, this is too close against the Raiders, and they still won. So they're I think Texans will get up for this game because they know this is a big game for seeding and potential division. Like technically, both teams still have a chance at division. They need a lot of help. And they need to win, but if they're motivated and they're ready to go, they can really impact this game on defense. But I'm a little nervous of their offense, like against a opportunistic and strong Chargers defense. That I'm kind of leading Chargers, but like if CJ Stroud is on, like then their defense should be enough to shut down the Chargers offense. But it should be a very fun game.
Agreed.
Very excited for this.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything there as well. I don't. This is one of those toss-up games that I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans won, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers won, and it kind of just, it is what it is. I don't. I do think the Texans win somehow. I don't know how. I do think that with Nico Collins just kind of just their hope that like he just can really, really, really play well, but that's like what was it? Was it last week during the Cowboys game? The announcer was like, he didn't have anything to say. And he was just like, who do the Eagles play? Who do the Cowboys play last week? Forgot who the Cowboys.
Chargers.
So it was the Chargers, right? He's like, the Chargers are really going to focus here on C.D. Lamb and George Pickens, and it's like, yeah, no duh, like,
Great insight.
Like, yeah, that's kind of yeah, like, what do you? No, they're just going to let them go. Like, so I think, like, but again, it is that Chargers, that is that style of the Chargers where they do focus on that player, and they're going to watch where Nico Collins goes, and they're going to make you throw it to other players. And it's going to be hard for CJ Stroud not to just be able to throw the ball up in the air and say, hey, Nico, go get it. He's going to be covered. The offense is going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle. They might be able to run the ball a bit. Not that the Chargers are great at all of that, but they might be able to push the ball on the ground a little bit. It's going to be probably a very low-scoring affair. I do agree. But again, I think the Texans pull out a win somehow just to make the NFL interesting, the fix to fail. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers beat them.
Yeah, if you look at the matchups here up front, the Chargers have the dead last run blocking grade in the league and the 30th pass blocking grade in the league. And the Texans have the second to best pass rushing grade in the league, only behind the Rams, I think. So obviously, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, it's an insane pass. Yeah, I mean that's about as like we look at matchups every week, and that's about as mismatch as it gets. But at the same time, you guys are right. Like it's kind of strength on weakness on both sides of the ball. The Texans offense has struggled to get their groove, and anyone outside of Nico Collins, CJ Stroud has kind of had a difficult time developing connection with. So the Chargers can take away the number one receiver, make life difficult on C.J. Stroud. Like you said, Meisty, low-scoring game. I think the over-under they had for this one is 39.5. So, yeah, I mean, Vegas is expecting to be pretty low-scoring. But I've been picking against the Chargers all year. Chargers favored by 2 here, and I'm going to have to do it again. That match, listen,
Wow.
Justin Herbert has found a way to overcome 4/5 of his offensive line being. I mean, Joe Alt got injured very early in the season, and then since then it's been all downhill. And I think four of their 5 starters on offensive line have been injured.
Slater before the season.
Slater was even before the season, so they started by week 4 or 5. 2 of their starters already were injured. So, but he's gotten the ball out quickly. He's moved around in the pocket very well. He's used athleticism. Like, he's done a good job overcoming it. But against the Texans, I mean, this is going to be an interesting test. You got the Texans and the Broncos last 2 weeks of the season for the Chargers. So I just see that as too big of a mismatch. I'm going with the Chargers. What about you, Yehuda? I'm going with the Texans. What about you, Yehuda?
Yeah, it would be very classic Chargers to lose this game, but I'm afraid of the Houston offense. Like, both of them, I know that like Justin Herbert's going to be under pressure all day, but if you watch that Chargers Eagles game, that Monday night game, there was a point like a quarter and a half or 2 quarters into the game where they had a 71% pass rush or pressure rate. 71% pressure rate was like the highest they'd ever tracked. Justin Herbert literally running for his life, running
every play,
and then they won, and they somehow won that game.
I know.
So like that's like different than Chargers usually do, and yeah, no, I keep going back and forth here. I know they don't have a huge home field advantage, but it is in SoFi, and so just not playing on the road, even though every they pretty much play every game on the road. But I don't know that like Texans fans travel like that. Like, I think their offense is going to be too much to overcome the Texans' offense. Chargers will make just enough plays on offense. You know, Keenan Allen on a like big 3rd down against Stingley or Lassiter. And I think they'll win, yeah, like Micey said, low-scoring game, like, 17-13, 16-13 type game. So I'm going to go Chargers here. And the good Harbaugh coach for the first 5 years that he's on the team. But, yeah, I'm going to take Chargers.
Micey, what do you think? Chargers by 2.
Yeah, I have the Texans winning this one. Like I said, but we'll see what happens.